Just a very quick reminder, I'm really hoping to gain the needed amount of Patreon support to keep this series going on YouTube. Any pledge helps massively, link below. Just thought it was very nice of her to make him a cup of tea at the same time. Also nice is how he is practicing what he preaches. He's not holding a grudge as he said he's not, and so happily says, yes, I'll join them for a break. Oh, I'm guessing Franky can tell maybe at a glance that she's struggling as a ship, that what he's doing won't fix her, but it melted my heart to hear Usopp say this. Ah, here we go. It gets a win purely for pulling at my heartstrings, really? So glad we were shown this, because he just seemed to teleport there with Franky, but now we're being shown how all of that came about in the first place. For the first time ever, we can see how badly damaged the ship is after all it's been through. That's so well done. I don't know ships, but I know that doesn't look great at all. Usopp being true to his word. He doesn't back down. He will still fight for the ship no matter what. That is nothing short of fantastic. He's basically saying, had you been happy to go down with the ship, I'd have said nothing, but you had dreams, and this ship will not allow those to come true. Follow-up win for the final part there. It sounds harsh, but he's actually doing him a favour right here. That hurts a lot. I cannot lie. I hate to see it. I kept thinking in my heart, oh, something will fix it, and yet now, this is the first time that idea has been scrapped in my head seeing this. That's getting max wins. Firstly, for his scream of pain. Secondly, for seeing the ship like that, because it twisted up my gut. I hated seeing that go down. Man, oh man. Again, I must give him props for fighting for the going merry. He's not huddled up crying. He's not running away in fear. He's quite happily fighting him here, being brave. At least everything Franky is doing here, albeit very heavy-handed, is to prove to Usopp what state the ship is in and that it can no longer be fixed. Nice looking and sounding water effects there. Yeah, you can see it there easily enough. All of the most important areas of the ship cracked and will definitely leak. That music and seeing the damage and Usopp's tears right there. What an amazing story. I liked seeing even them basically shocked and hurt by what's going on. He's still trying to repair the ship. Oh, will the sadness never end? Also take one for the realism of how heavy this would be and how we can't simply pop it up and carry it back over there. See? Bless their hearts, they really don't like seeing this. Never did I think that such a simple thing could ever touch me like this or hurt so bad. This must be storytelling at its finest, really. In fact, have max wins for it. I don't even care. You've made me care this much. You must get wins. It's crazy. Same as with Luffy sometimes. You can see them get so angry that it scares for a second even someone like Franky. He can go right on ahead and help himself to a win for being such a great voice actor during these painful bits. Here, he's just so fed up and angry. I can understand it too. Usopp admitting for the first time that in his heart, he knows the ship is done. My god, you would literally think he was crying whilst voicing this, wouldn't you? Firstly, keeping Sky Island in our minds by bringing this up again for the first time since G8. Secondly, it's no wonder he doesn't want to let it go. He was so sure that fate or some higher power was keeping the going merry, well, going, like the spirit of the ship. Credit for making me tear up recalling this. It seemed like such a small deal at the time, now given so much importance, and of course, the music always gets to me, as you know. Oh, adding that in out of nowhere. Again, no wonder it pains him so much. But even then the thing said a little further, so she was almost done already back then. Ah, Franky knows about it! This is huge! That's what I figured, but I love to hear it. This is again another thing from real life injected into the anime. I really like when Oda does stuff like that. This one really felt a lot of love then from everyone, especially Usopp. Have another for that. Oh man. I haven't cried so much in ages. Feels good to get it out, to be honest. Such a beautifully written part of the story. I'm so blown away by how great it is. I'm nervous because I believe they have arrived outside the door, but also Franky raised a good point I hadn't considered yet. For context, the bell has been ringing for about 60 seconds now, so when she says this, it gets a little creepy. Why are they not coming in? This won't end up happening, but I thought it was a real nice gesture all the same. 2 wins again. Firstly, the whole thing got me on edge. They're arguing, and meanwhile the girls are heading towards the door, trying to see who is there, reaching the handle. But also I liked what he said here. It makes perfect sense too. As the spirit of the ship, it'd feel terrible if they went down at sea, of course. Stroke of genius doing all this in the background, including not changing a thing until she goes flying past them. No change in music, nothing. Amazing. Yup, they've all arrived, but as annoying as it is, she's still fine. Damn her! Great end to one of the best episodes ever for me, even if the entire thing took place inside here as he rushes to attack these new foes. I really hoped that an attack from Franky would be difficult for them to counter, and yet, not the case yet again. These guys and gal are just too tough. Whoa! Having said that, total turnaround as he goes Iron Body and yet is still knocked back by Franky. Let's go! I don't care. I love it. All jokes aside, I'm giving Max wins. For this, I hear one person say, yes, because they dominated everyone before now. This guy is struggling versus Franky big time. I think he was trying to save his own life there in a moment of panic in spite of them needing Franky alive for their entire mission right now, but still he caught it. I love Usopp so much. That was great. I feel like these moments already do a good job of building him as a good guy. He sees them as his sisters, and so he's really mad now that they were attacked. Too long to show, but they laid it all out for him. Everything up to now, neat and tidy. And then this was the reaction. I thought it was great and needed that win. Just as in win number 79-13, same thing here, but this time for his old friend Iceberg. Getting our first look at Tom and the mission he set them both on so long ago. Glad so much background is being given now. It's actually the perfect time for it, I think. Also, whilst I sadly do not know any of his work, I wanted to shout him out. He sadly died aged 91, great age, in April of 2024. I hope he rests in peace. Getting to see what I'm guessing is a young Iceberg and especially a baby Franky. So good. As painful as it is to see him getting knocked about so easily, that smash into the wall was well done. Wow, I just had a thought that maybe this old room was once used by the likes of Franky, Iceberg and their master Tom. Don't care, giving it a win for being right. Really is nice to see this side to him, to be honest. I've been giving him some praising wins bit by bit these past few episodes, but this is another side to him I really like. It's so good. Clearly that's the old woman on the left who drinks all the time, and the frog on the right who got hit by the sea train before. It's all coming into focus now. It's a baby Franky. It's also a young Iceberg. Also take another for showing us the state Water 7 was in years ago. It really changed for the better in every way you can think of by the time our crew arrives. Buggerberg. I really like that one. By the by, take a look at all of the gear in the background. It's so different in the modern day, but back then looked to be little more than a dumping ground. Damn son, the raw power of old school Tom on display back then. Another awesome view of the city. Oh, here it was back in the day, is new and clean and tidy. Yup, I knew it. Take another win. I'm so smart, but also nice to see what she used to look like before. I'm guessing some real dark times and all the drinking to cope with it. God, I love lore like this. Obviously the city proper was in place as we saw, but the outside was a mess. No towns spilling over as we've seen in modern times, and now this news from the day. Art style change. Now the importance of the sea train makes so much more sense. People were really struggling without it back then. Made me quite sad for a moment, knowing where he was punched and knocked through to just now was this quiet little room, warm and cozy, where they once worked and slept so long ago. The size of it! Easy 2 wins. Firstly, it's for the shock that they're here to get Tom all of a sudden. Secondly, it was the great lore that that giant ship is meant to carry judges who then arrest and judge people pretty much on the spot. Had never heard of that till now. Learning that Tom's crime was building the ship of Gold D. Roger. Insane as it is, 3 crowds, those outside, even animating a couple, them inside watching, and then their backs as they all sit watching. I like how he decides he's going to say this no matter what, and even those 2 guys can't move him an inch. Not content to merely say it's a sea train, he even goes so far as to explain how it works so well in the future. Absolutely brilliant, Oda is, and he covers Sea King protection. I mean, colour me extremely shocked that this was the call given down by the court to delay his execution, I'm guessing, for 10 years whilst he builds it. Wow. I really do like the Tom of old. He's a hell of a character, and maybe where Franky gained a lot of his own personality and quirks from. My guess here is, and it's well deserved, that Franky is still very much upset about 10 years from now. He doesn't want anything to happen to Tom, full stop. Totally understand this side to it as well. That must have deeply hurt him too. Take one more for learning as well that Tom was pushed out by the people in the city over building the ship for Roger as well. Such amazing lore, always building, I swear. That it was Franky who taught him how to swim like this. Loving learning even more about his original history, how he built a great working cannon from scrap and got taken in due to his talents. Yet another 2 wins. One, I would guess he wouldn't have helped much, if at all, because it'd speed up the process, meaning his eventual demise. And 2, I really liked how Tom spoke about Franky just beforehand, calling him a free spirit, talented and honest. Lovely words from a doting father type figure, really. God, that music always gets me as well. Plus clearly Franky was still angry, not wanting the process to keep going. And then decided to help anyway like a good boy. Ah, Franky, the pains you likely went through. How it wasn't the case that he built it, it ran beautifully, but instead, like everything, had serious issues to be worked through over a long time. Man, that is really dark and goes to show the state the city was in right up to the completion of the train, as we hear of a company leader who took his own life after losing 50 men trying to get supplies. Seeing the completed sea train in all its glory for the first time. Panda Man in the crowd. Also a totally unique looking crowd too. Seeing them all so happy at the end, knowing it had finally worked, and then that beautiful ending. So damn good. You know the drill by now. We knew he had to be okay, but it still equals a big fat win. You're my boy, Zoro. Jumping right back into the action without any hesitation too. Hurts to see him destroy something with so much history and meaning to him, then getting attacked and held by her too. Context. He claimed Tom was a criminal and said Franky had done a crime also, but I liked seeing him jump to defend his adoptive father's name like that. Even in that short moment, I can tell that the history is going to be painful. Seems he saves Franky, got hit by something that was lodged into his stomach, defeated a foe. Let's go. Such a cool look at the city from years ago, carrying goods and heavy materials to Water 7. Small win, but I enjoyed seeing the things they're transporting up close. Then you can understand just how much is being sent over. It's not like 6 logs, it's tons of them. True to Oda's writing form, he doesn't say they built the train and all problems were fixed, the end. Instead, because it's all new, they're still having a tough time with buying. Cypher ball number 5 no Hurry Puri Prisoner from One Punch Man. Also though, lore-wise, interesting to learn that they've been around a long time and that they're from a different group. The fact that all these years later, after dozens of new versions, he could finally take out a Sea King. The realism behind why he's so against him building them. They're powerful weapons that can be used by others. Not only does this scene make Franky sound good here, but it makes sense overall. Haven't seen much of Tom, but the guy was absolutely hilarious. Nice touch showing how short he is, that he has to stand on the table to look at his face. Is that a poke at real-world inept governments? Right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing? All this time I thought they just planned to get him in 10 years, but now I'm guessing these guys are going to get involved somehow and screw up everything, sadly. Finding out that this mission is nothing new and actually started many years ago. So stupid, but it gets a win. You know, considering that's just a very quick gag, the fact that they chose to go first person and show all of that easily grabs them a win. At the same time, learning where Robin first came into play for Iceberg, my god, it really is all connected. Knowing Franky has always been like this, and people have been trying for years to get him to wear pants. Learning that these weren't just some evil dudes, they believed he had made up for creating Roger's ship by building the sea train, bringing prosperity to this region. But something happens, obviously. I don't think I'll ever get over how many crowds they always did back then. I'm taking a shot in the dark. This is CP5 using Franky's ship to attack this one. They'll blame Franky and Tom will get in the way and likely be taken out. Damn, what a twist if so. It's only the first part proven correct, but hot damn, it is a great twist, and it proves what Iceberg said as being completely true as well. That slowdown suddenly, the colours changing, absolute masterpiece of episode planning, that is. Clever to show us this side, where they're keeping out of sight and wearing clothing that doesn't stand out. No running on the spot! As painful as it is, this was an excellent spy mission from these horrible people. How they kept their noses clean the entire time, and even now come back to destroy the evidence. Classic Oda makes me love a character like with Tom, and then it hurts all the more when you see him down and hurt like this. Brilliant voice acting. You can just hear the pain and hurt in his voice and heart at having hurt Tom of all people especially. Too long to show, but for context, just prior he said, if we're not able to get Tom out of here, then this... So the win is for this event now making sense why there are odds all these years later. Getting to see how the weather really has built up the entire day, bit by bit, more and more, so good. Also a small win, but just seeing it affect a normal person's little business makes it feel more real too. Luffy is okay, thankfully, but got stuck again, clearly. Zoro jumping over the rooftops, easy win. Even whilst badly hurt like that, he was still watching over the feelings of Franky. He really was an excellent father figure to those two. I love Tom, straight up. Even now, he's trying to laugh it off. Dude is getting max wins. He's already hit the level of Genzo from so long ago. Yep. Pretty much what I thought would happen, but they're blaming all three and not just Franky, so got that wrong. So sad to see Tom dragged here with that wound too. Ugh. Just thought that was so nicely detailed. The city in the far back, the houses in the middle, the crowd in front of them, and then Franky, Tom and Iceberg with him right up close. I ain't ever gonna stop winning these different city shots. How are they gonna keep giving me so many crowd shots though? He said ships can do things like that. They're no longer my ships. Then this happened. I tell you, no matter what, Tom sticks to his word like nothing I've ever seen. I know it's basically a combination of the last win in terms of what he's saying and has said before, but the act of pulling that out like that, such a badass. I get where he's coming from here as well now, but man oh man, that music, the emotion is insane. What a man he was. He understood his son and his feelings after what had happened like no one since. I don't give a damn. That was beautiful. Easy win. Go on, Tom. This is how he gets me. He builds him up, super likable, a good, honest man with honor and principles, and then he gives me a heart-wrenching scene like this. Is there any wonder, after hearing all of this hate directed at his father of sorts, that Franky goes the opposite direction to Iceberg? 100% understandable now, having seen all this. What a legend. Although I hate him for thinking Tom would randomly do this, the fact that he snapped at him like that was sick. I get what he's doing now. He's making it so that he cannot be handed over to CP5. It's very clever, I must admit. In a way, what hurts so much is that he did this for the people, and yet they hate him. They think he's dangerous, and still, partly, he's happy to have saved the city and brought life to it. Learning more about Eni's lobby. I had wondered what it was all this time, since it's been mentioned once or twice here. Yup, there's no wonder he couldn't sit by watching that. Says a lot about Franky, really. Easy win for that attack. The fact that he fought for him against so many attackers as well. Goodness me, what a legend Franky is and has been in the past. To go this far to stop them taking Tom. Shocked win. I can't believe it's not even causing a dent. Tom really did build that train to withstand anything. I wonder if this is why all these years later, the frog is doing the same thing to the train. What the hell? I figured it'd batter him out of the way, but no. It got through him in the end, sadly, but what an attempt. Also, I love the words. He doesn't want to build ships that hurt people. All of it, really. I'm sure it'll all come full circle too. I hate her, she's bad, but my god, that dress is insane. Another mystery solved regarding why he was thought to be dead all this time. Right. So annoyingly, that guy from back then is now in charge of their group. Man, I hope Franky gets his revenge so bad. Feels real good to know that he took serious damage from both Tom and Franky back then. Makes me feel a lot better. He could have so easily let them leave, which they were happily doing, but he is brave. He couldn't stand by and watch this happen, and it's one of the many reasons I love the guy. But that was also very hilarious. The little guy is worried about them. It's so sweet. Chopper quickly being a legend. Really like the attention to detail back there. Amazing! Chopper carrying what looks like Iceberg and the number 1 foreman guy, I think, and Zoro's sword. Iceberg-san! Pauli-san! The little critter got saved as well. Let's friggin' go! The fact that just before falling, his thoughts were still about getting to Nami and treating her. So glad this was said. I thought they'd get the wrong end of the stick, but no, they understand that he clearly did save their lives, and so they're gonna help him too. I think a big part of how they come across like secret agents is the no talking thing. He says, "Don't you dare touch it." He just walks up and does what he's doing regardless of that. It's still so damn painful to watch these scenes. That is incredibly well done. I mean, Oda smashed it in the manga, but the animators who did it like this nailed it. The music, the voice, his fall as the ship falls, brilliant. Even Franky, who had previously done what he did, horrible English, but whatever, still didn't like seeing this. I tell you, this hits so differently when you actually know who he is now. His past, about Tom and Franky and everything else. That is not how I thought that scene would go. Take a shocked win. Can't believe I haven't said it yet, so here we go. Being nice to animals is always a win. Oh hell yes, I hadn't even considered this. I figured it just went from this scene to where everyone is in the room with him and revealing themselves as CP9. Didn't know this happened.
兵器復活のためにポーネグリフを求めているわけじゃないわ。ただ、歴史を知りたくて。
Damn man! Robin takes her history learning even more seriously than I do. Amazing how he links this happening right now with Robin and her intentions or lack of to what he said years ago to Franky. Such outstanding story writing.
世界政府の手で私の人生がどれほど狂わされたのかも知らないで。
I know I winged it already, but take another for the continued unfolding of Robin and her backstory. I'm just so shocked that it came after Franky's and she joined ages ago.
従うこと。
そうなればお前の命もないぞ。
Love subtle stuff like that, just eyeing it up.
海軍本部の中将5人と軍艦10隻を一点に招集させる緊急命令。大将青生地を返して一度だけそれを発動できる権利を与えられていた。
Oh my goodness, the law just gets better and better. She says they can order a buster call against our crew. He asks what that is and she says it here. That's insane. Now it makes perfect sense. So she was protecting them from giant battleships coming together and basically wiping them out to the point where nothing would remain of them.
盾にできたから。でも今の私には本当に。
That's win-worthy as well. She could run because she didn't care for anyone for 20 years, but now she does care for them all, and she can no longer run from this threat if it harms them.
途絶えた夢もみんな救い上げてくれる。
That was beautiful too. The life I once gave up on when Luffy saved her underground. The heart I had given up on. Her gaining a love for this crew. Absolutely amazing.
じゃあお前の願いってのは。
私を除く麦わらの一味の6人が無事にこの島を出港すること。
Finding out what her dream was, and yet all that time in the room, I thought it was something else entirely. I feel so bad for thinking poorly of her. Thank God Nami knows this now.
俺は引き金を引けなかった。
She was going to allow herself to be shot shockingly, but he couldn't do it.
今からよ。ルフィたちなら大丈夫。あのくらいじゃやられない。
Nami having so much faith in her fellow pirates, and also being so glad that Robin didn't betray them that she got right up ready to go off and find them.
助けていいんだと分かった時のあいつらの強さに限度なんてないんだから。
I love that so much. What an amazing sentiment from her, and it's true too. If they're fighting for her as a member of their crew who they love, they'll do anything to do it.
俺は少し別行動を取る。まあ心配すんな。無茶しねえから。
In all this greatness, I had forgotten about Sanji taking off earlier. It just keeps getting better somehow.
女の嘘は許すのが男だ。
More than his words even, I just liked how that was done. That's what they were doing, raising the train up a level due to the water. That's so clever. That was so sick. Come on, man. Him suddenly watching over her like that, lighting one up. Get out of here.
逃げたきゃ一人でもひねっちまえるはず。それとも逃げ出せねえ理由でも。
Sanji is smart. He's understanding that clearly there's more to this situation than meets the eye.
待ってたわ。私だけの王子様。
Two wins here. Firstly, Sanji having an idea that this might happen, but also a very rare One Piece art style change. He's such a nerd.
あれが CP9 か。
You can absolutely see why they'd describe him as being intimidating here.
Usopp?
Luckily, everyone is becoming aware of everything happening. Nami knows the truth about Robin, and Sanji knows exactly where they are going to take them, and that Usopp is being taken. Not walking with Usopp on the spot.
遊びじゃねえんだ。気を引き締めろ。全員列車に乗れ。
They really are great villains, from Arlong, Crocodile, Enel, and so on. Very out there personalities. These are instead quiet, intimidating, and to the point all the time. Very serious. Showing us these ongoing efforts to stop the blaze to the point where it's almost done. Chopper is still the cutest thing to ever exist, and I'm so happy with the news here.
海列車は一時運行停止になる。もう間もなくアクアラグナが来るからな。
Thankfully, they've got him there to not only tell them which direction to head in, but also letting them know it's almost their last chance to catch up to them for a while, if not.
機関士も政府の人間。俺が言っても聞かねえ。
Great covering over of a could-be plot twist before it can even form by revealing that he cannot stop the train. Thus, it has to depart and they'll have to race to it.
もし見つかったらすぐに駅に来るように伝えるのよ。よし、わかった。
Also liked Nami thinking on her feet here. She doesn't say hopefully we'll all magically meet up there. Instead, she's headed for the train whilst sending Chopper to get those two.
このお嬢ちゃんたちに手貸して差し上げろ。
The fact that he's okay and that he's telling them to give them a hand too.
現に俺やアイスバーグさんの命が今あるのはこいつらのおかげだろう。
Also go ahead and take a win for the truth finally being revealed to all of them. I'm happy now.
ごちゃごちゃ言ってねえでけじめつけろ。彼らの名をおる気か。
He continues to be an excellent voice actor, having gotten annoyed at the doubts and questions from his men.
もうあんな思いをするのは俺とあなたで十分でしょう。
Ah, okay. Understand now why they didn't tell them the truth and covered up CP9's true identities.
頼んだわよ。きっと二人を連れて行くから。
So hyped seeing these two heading off to get their own mission started. It's so good. That little whisper for Usopp. Oh my god, that made me laugh so hard.
ウソップ帰ってきてくれ。
I can't believe that. Chopper said, please everyone, shout with me. And then this happened.
まだ出港まで20分ある。行かないでロビー。
Kind of reminds me of the Chimera Ant arc in Hunter x Hunter, where time is a huge focus for a while. You'll know the bit if you've seen it.
丁重に扱いからバーガ全然セダンバーガ政府のクソだまい。いやそれは
I am really starting to like seeing these two together, and what a creative way to have done it as well, with the theft of the cash and the beating up of Usopp, his headquarters being wrecked and so on.
フランキー、てめえ無事なのか。
Nice to see that he does still really care as well.
ウソップ帰ってきてくれ。
I cannot believe they did it once more and it still utterly wrecked me. That's one of the best jokes ever.
あいつら
足を滑らせたのがキロ。
What's all of this is going on? They're both bloody stuck.
裏町の方じゃねえのか。そうだとするともう申請しちまっているかも。
Credit to these lads as well for risking their own safety by doing this. It's not exactly safe down there right now.
何か不都合ない。出せ。では。
Purely a win for the fact that his pigeon has a coat the same as him.
心配すんなって。こいつは悪いやつじゃねえから。ロビン、気分はどうだ？
Loved that flashback and how it made her smile thinking about it. That was painful to see her miss it by such a small margin. Her scream of Robin was too long to show, but well good, and you know my jam. You end the episode in such an artistic and great way, you get that win. Darth Weirdo, Fidji, Mao Liao, Mushwin, Nick Wyndham, The Elementaler Wars, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Minimasher, Marquez, Nozomi, Orkeeper, Odabotanisi, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Bird Without a Word, Brendan Greer, Brian Bayard, Cameron, Christopher Terrasa, Commander Cyrus, David Freerix, Devicool, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Guru, James DeFoyer, Yor Edvinson, Kevin Alston, Cumfroig, Miora Night Sky, Mr. Mansu, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Robert Jackson, Ruby Rose, Sataki Ari, Zions 44, Sean, Starkip, Tiger Lily Warrior, Alexander Schwartz, Ali 50, Amadillo, Arnador, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dante's Soul, Dante's Face, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Donald Newborn, Dragon Defender, Dragon Boy 1, Drake's Daughter, Iso, Francie, Furious Mo, Garrett Vermeesh, Henrik Jensen, Host Losritter, Israel Caldera, Joe Crims, Jason Davies, John, Jaffa 6263, Kai Wolfspring, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevin 102, Knuckle Duster, Cody Niemeyer, Kai 158, Carl Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gagati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Luis Minito, Marvin, Mason Stelfer, Matthew Blancet, Michael Lewis, Miran Ardron, Modaviram, Mr. Firecool, Nathaniel Gigramosa, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, Nuvagown 1928, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Olive Wharf, Onyx Caliph, Oscar I. Lopez, Owen Haloran, Porgy, That's a Fish, Q-Flash, Chris Harris, Rimuru, Rodies, Roll Tide Wes, Ryan DeViri, Sadaholic, Sakumi Iorum, Sarcastic Truth, Shadow Cleanser, Snowy, Stan, Storm 970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Thrasher 340, Tomo Sandy, Vernon Hogan, Wacky Normal, Will Sass, Willy Man.